Hi friends, we are back. We just did our energy exchange where we found that the energy we would benefit from releasing today was stinginess, and the new energy we could call in its place was love. Stinginess for love. I think sometimes stinginess comes up because we've been hurt. We're like, I don't want to give love anymore. I'm gonna be stingy with my love. I am just going to hold on to it. I'm not gonna share it. I'm not gonna give it away because I have been so hurt. And I'm afraid now of that feeling ever coming over me again, that feeling of loss, that feeling of betrayal, that feeling of rejection, the feeling of abandonment, whatever it may be. So we're going to look at the root of this stinginess today, and then anything that might be blocking us to our love, both the giving and the receiving. And then we'll also check the numbers when it comes to our openness to love. And for any of you who've seen my videos before, there are two things that we look at: any external blocks that might be blocking us to this new positive thing, and then our own heart, like our own openness to receiving this new thing. Because sometimes it's both of those things, and combined, they can be pretty problematic in that they can be keeping us stuck in those negative energies. So for today, the negative energy is stinginess, and the new ones are the love. So let's check our numbers first. Sometimes we just dive right into the root of that original negative energy, but for today, let's check our openness first to receiving love. So what percent are we open to receiving love? That was a 0% right there, y'all. And then what percent are we blocked to receiving love? Oh, great. Okay. Not so bad. Only 40% blocked. So for today, this clearing is really a lot about our blocks to love. All right. So now we can go in and we can look at that stinginess thing. What is the root of the stinginess? What's causing it? And what can we do to hopefully knock it out of the way? So let's go to our first chart and say, can you show us what the root of this stinginess might be? Okay, I don't have the spiritual healing book on me. I have to get better about this because it really does suck that that book just came up and I don't have it on me. So let's go again. So we're going to say, I know that there's something else out there that these charts can show me. That's not the only option. So what is it that you can show me? And it's the one right next to it. So it is looping. We are stuck in this loop of stinginess. And again, that makes so much sense because we are hurt. We're afraid. We are just not feeling this openness. And it's like this little vortex of non-love and stinginess that we've gotten stuck inside of. Oh, so let's all collectively take an exhale. Just let it out right now. We're going to do a releasing statement together. They're really basic. They're really simple. I try to keep them really basic and simple on purpose so that you feel like they are accessible for you. I don't want to be creating some grand poetry that you don't feel like you could ever then create on your own when I'm not here with you on this video. I want releasing statements to be something that you feel like you can begin incorporating into your everyday life with or without a pendulum, with or without dowsing. If there's just anything you're finding in any given day, I release myself from this desire now. I release myself from this attachment now. Whatever the thing is that you want to be released from, I release myself from this addiction to alcohol. I release myself from this addiction to television. I release myself from this belief I have that I am not good enough. You can create these all on your own. And you can just breathe with them, say them out loud, say them as you're walking, say them to yourself, write them down on a piece of paper, whatever it may be. But I want you to feel comfortable incorporating these things into your life because in this way, in this fashion, you gain back some control over your life. And I know for many of us, that's important because for many of us, we have suffered feeling like we don't have control over our thoughts, over our feelings, over the things that happen to us. And releasing statements is how we gain back control. So right now, I want you to say, I release myself from this looping of stinginess. I release myself from the looping I have been doing inside of fear. I now fully open myself up to the energy of love. Again, you can let out a good exhale as you say these things. I now fully open myself up to the energy of love. Okay, now let's go back to our charts and see what else do you want us to know about the root of this stinginess other than it is a looping thing that we are stuck inside of. Okay, we're going to go to chart 16. I was checking for 1 second there because I felt it was kind of moving, are blocks to our verbal expression. So what percent have we been blocked to expressing our love? 100%. So verbally expressing our love has been difficult for many of us, and this is creating this energy of stinginess. And so we're just calling for everyone's throat chakras to be blasted open right now. And I'm just seeing these beautiful waves. I don't know why, but purple light. And I know purple is not the color for the throat chakra, but for some reason I'm seeing purple light. So that's what we're calling in. We're calling in this beautiful purple light for all of our throat chakras right now. And I think for some reason the purple light is what I'm seeing is like, that's the light that's just like doing the dirty work of digging these blocks out of the way. The blocks to us feeling safe and comfortable expressing ourselves. Maybe it's verbal stinginess that we've been struggling with. Maybe your partner has told you you're not giving enough words of affirmation. Again, maybe for some reason there's a disconnect between your words and your mind, and you're just feeling like you can't speak the words you want to speak. You can't share the love you want to share. And you've been trapped inside this paralysis of the tongue, of the mouth, of the words. So we're releasing all of us now from the paralysis of the mouth, the paralysis of our words, opening us now fully to an abundance of expression, an abundance of our verbal connection with other people. Again, we're just going to let out a good exhale. Again, if you'd like to just sit in meditation, close your eyes, do whatever you want to do. I encourage you to not look at me. I always say that. Don't even look at me. You don't even have to look at me. I'm not even here. Pretend I'm not even here. We're just doing this work behind the scenes in that subconscious realm, trying to help us all shake free from any energy that isn't serving us. And I have to tell y'all, somebody asked me the other day on YouTube if there's any evidence of this stuff working, and I don't know about collectively, right? I can't prove anything on a collective level, but I can certainly say on a personal level, this work is so helpful for me. The other day, in fact, 2-3 days ago, I was just so low. My energy, I was so down. I was so depressed. It was just felt horrible. And I did 2 clearings for myself, and I felt 1,000 times better. I walked out of that room feeling like a new woman. And I don't know how to explain it other than it is an energy exchange. I walked into the room with the energy of depression, and I walked out of the room with the energy of peace. Was I bubbling happy? A little bit better, actually. I had a little song in my heart. I was, skipping a little bit more, but mostly I was just at peace. I'd stopped fighting the thing that I think I was fighting with that dark, kind of depressed energy. So think about that for yourself. It's like, how often do you give yourself the opportunity to explore what's going on the inside, to really sit down and first of all say, Spirit, clear it. Take this away from me. I don't want this. I don't need this. And I'm coming here asking for help. And also to sit down and actively say, I don't want this energy. So what can we find out for me psychologically, for me emotionally, whatever the case may be, for me to really let this go? I'm choosing to want to let this go. I'm choosing to not wallow. I'm choosing to not sit in. I'm choosing to want to actively let it go and release it. And I think there's something about that combination. It's a winning combination. At least it has been for me. And that's saying a lot, because I am somebody who for many, 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 many years of my life really struggled with depression, really struggled with sadness. I was a very melancholic person for a good majority of my life. And so this has been a life-changing and life-healing practice for me. So let's go back to the root of this stinginess. What else can we learn about this stinginess so that we can really let this energy go once and for all? We're going to chart 30. Chart 30 and what is called spiritual response technique, if you want to look at it. Do you want me to now move on to the love factor? Yes. Okay, so that just said you're finished with that. Wrap that up. You don't need to look anymore at the stinginess. Now we're going to look at this lack of openness to love. So what can we do? This is a tricky pendulum to hold. I'm going to make note of that because I'm going to change this pendulum since I have the power and the means and the method to do that. So check our chakras. So which of our chakras is involved here in our lack of openness? Interesting, our root chakra, again, it comes down to that survival. And this is that first thing. As soon as this came up, as soon as it said that love was the new energy we needed, but we were being stingy, the very first thing that was laid on my heart was this was about like a deep survival thing. Like this was about fear, right? Anytime fear comes into play, I think there's a connection with survival. That's just my belief. I feel like a lot of fear is rooted in survival, even if it is like on a psychological level, not like you're necessarily survival of this physical form, but like your survival as a self, as a being, as a member of community, you know, as whatever, as a boss, as a, you know, in your career, whatever the case may be, as an artist. You know, a lot of our fears are deeply rooted in that root chakra. And so we're calling for peace, for balance, for healing for all of us right now on that root level. And again, I just like to think about softening it so that it can let go. I think inherently our chakras are designed beautifully. They want to bring energy in and cycle energy out. That is what they want to do. That's what they're designed to do. And if we soften them, if we stop having our grip on them, if we stop mucking them up with our icky energy, icky thoughts, icky attitudes, and really this tension, I really do think that they start to just flow naturally and go right back into their own natural processing. So that's what I'm asking for all of us now, for all of our root chakras to be reminded of their original blueprint, their original design. And as we soften, they get to start operating again at the perfect level. So that's what we're calling on and asking for right now. All right, we're going to go back to the charts then, and we're going to say, why don't we check our numbers just to see what that did. So when we started this, we were 0% open to love. Now what percent are we open to love? Now we're 95% open to love just by doing that with our chakras. So now what are we going to do here? So now we're going to look at chart 16, Fall of Consciousness. Fall of Consciousness is what this one is called. Ooh, there is a spiritual battle going on. We believe that we are separate from one. We believe that we are just a mere lowly little human, and we come here on this planet, we go through our traumas, and then we die. And that's just not the truth of it. We are all connected to one. We are all connected to spirit. And when we believe that, when we accept that, then we can be open to love and not be so stingy then with the giving and the receiving of that love. So we're asking for all of us to get a gentle little nudge, a gentle little reminder in our conscious awareness, like, hey, you are special, you are magical, you are part of one. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. You are special, you are magical. Don't you forget it. Whew, I'm going to let out a good exhale on that one. So now what percent are we open to love? 100%. Great. And so we were 40% blocked. So let's look at what we can do to clear out that block. And then maybe today's like a really short clearing. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. So what can we do to bust out that 40% block we have to love? We're going to chart 20. What's going on here on chart 20? Additional programs, type 1 and 2. We're just going to ask for these programs. And again, these are some of the programs that were established long before our little brain woke up to the existence of this current avatar. These are programs that are like deep in the collective awareness, deep in the collective consciousness. These are not necessarily individual programs that I, Kate, am operating. These are programs that we all operate inside of. And these are the programs, the belief systems. When I say programs, it's like, this is the belief system that we're having you believe, that you are separate, that you are different, that there is good, that guy over there is good, and this guy over here is bad, and that you are alone, and that you are unsafe. These are all programs. You're alone, you're unsafe, you're separate, no one will support you, you know, you're a piece of shit, whatever the case may be. These are all programs. And again, these are not things that are necessarily like your fault, but because they are unconscious, because you're not aware of them, they're fueling you and driving you and operating your life, and you don't even know it. So we're calling all of us into this awareness of these programs now and releasing ourselves from the ones that aren't helping us and calling in new programs where we get to believe in love. We get to believe in the benefit of expansive hearts, expansive minds, expansive amounts of sharing. Believe again in community. I know right now a lot of us are feeling really concerned about who is and isn't our community, what is and isn't safe. Should we be going out there and giving love, or should we be holding up in our homes and keeping ourselves just physically safe? There's a lot of horrible things going on in the news. There's just always trial and tribulation and a bad story after a bad story. And that can keep us feeling like we don't know what side is up. We don't know if we should be giving love. We don't know if we should be giving the finger. We don't freaking know what we should be doing. because we're getting all kinds of programs, all kinds of mixed messages, all kinds of stuff that, again, is in the collective that we are just a part of, that you didn't mean to buy into it, but there it is. It's part of the collective. And so releasing all of us now and bringing us into the awareness of the truth of our own divine nature, the truth of the magic of who we are, the truth of the importance of connection, the importance of the giving and the receiving of love, especially in difficult times like this, especially right now when everybody could really use some positive energy and some love. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy for me to show up in these videos right now. Again, I deeply fear being considered somebody that is out of touch and, you know, delusional or not connected to the harsh reality of what we're actually going through in the world. And I don't want to be that. And I want to be a positive influence in the world around us as much as I can. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Is there anything else we want to see as it relates to this block to love? So we're going to our chart that is called chart 10A, 10A. There's a 10A and there's a 10B. That's why they're called that. Some charts don't have an A and a B. Our desire to escape. So we have stingy energy. We're blocked to love because of this desire to escape. And the desire to escape is, again, one of those programs. So many programs operating deep below the surface. It's like, I don't want to be here. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to feel this. I would rather be stingy with my love than have to feel the reality of this intense emotion. Opening ourselves up to feeling the intensity of all of the emotions. Giving ourselves capacity to think and feel at all right now. I think a lot of people feel like they're just maxed out. And so I'm calling for all of us to be able to expand into just a little bit more awareness, a little bit more capacity to feel deeply, a little bit more capacity to, you know, shift our perspective as best as we can to be able to keep showing up. Okay, so now what percent are we blocked to love? We're still about 7% blocked. So let's look at this final thing that is blocking us, and then we'll wrap up this clearing for today. So what is the final thing that is blocking us to our love? Let's go to chart 8B. Chart 8B, I don't know that y'all can see this one. Self-forgiveness. Yeah. Definitely hard to receive love when you are not forgiving yourself. I think this might have come up actually recently in another clearing that we did, but I released myself from all the guilt and the shame I've been holding on to about all the things that I've ever done that I haven't forgiven myself for yet. I open myself up now to the energy of self-forgiveness, to accepting self-forgiveness. I open myself up to the giving and the receiving of love, knowing that I am worthy no matter what has happened or what I've done. It is safe to forgive myself. It is acceptable to forgive myself. Again, I am open to forgiving myself now. Can you say those words? And if you can't, why? What is holding you back from saying those words? Why is that hard for you? Are you embarrassed? Are you ashamed? Are you like, yeah, that applies to everybody else but me? Are you like, no, there's some things we shouldn't be forgiven for? What is your experience with those words? I'm curious. Okay, y'all, I just checked while I was talking and we are no longer blocked to love. So we're going to wrap up this clearing for today. We're going to do 100% of 100% of mop up, and then we're going to get our new replacement energy. What is our replacement energy for this very day? For this day, our replacement energy is freedom, worthiness, beautiful, freedom and worthiness, freedom from this energy of stinginess, freedom allowing all of our chakras to move in perfect harmony and balance, no longer tense, no longer holding ourselves back, freedom from the blocks that we're holding back our verbal expressions of love, and this deep inherent sense of worthiness, knowing that we can forgive ourselves. We do not have to hold on to shame. We do not have to hold on to guilt. we can just fully love and accept and embrace ourselves, because frankly, that is what the world needs right now. The world needs to shift out of the energy of hate, out of the energy of despising, out of the energy of the other. And the best way to do that is to start with yourself as an individual, forgiving and loving and accepting yourself. All right, everybody, let's drop back in for just one moment. Take one more good exhale. Finding ourselves right here, right now, allowing and embracing this healing to penetrate deeply and permanently. Asking for that stinginess to never return and for us to be fully, forever implanted in the energy of love. All right, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time on another episode of Clearing with Kate.